Thanks a lot, and it's a great honor for me to be at this stage. And we just heard the talk by Manish and with regard to Mayo Clinic. We all have been following Mayo Clinic, and he talked about what is the potential of technology, what is the potential of data, what is the potential of AI for transforming healthcare. So one thing I noticed in his deck when he mentioned about all the partnerships that Mayo Clinic has globally, India was missing there. And I am sure there is enough opportunity, enough reasons what this summit is going to show, the Global Digital Health Summit being organized by Mr. Gupta in such a nice manner, bringing the experts from world over. And what we will trying to show is what we are trying to do in India at a limited scale, which may excite Mayo Clinic and others to think of forging a partnership with institutions, organizations in India as well. So in the next few minutes, I will talk about what we are doing in the field of AI, what we plan to do when we host the AI Impact Summit in February 2026, and why India should be at the radar of everyone thinking of AI, everyone thinking of technology, everyone thinking of healthcare. So this is some progress that we have seen in the last few years. We have a platform called eSanjeevani, a telemedicine platform, which was doing almost 5,000 doctor-to-doctor consultations way back in 2020 January. And when COVID came in, there is a need to scale up this platform to make it into an OPD platform wherein people could consult doctors without having to go to a physical hospital. We scaled up that platform, and today, in the last 5 years, we have served more than 309 million patients through that platform. The daily number of consultations that we are doing is in excess of 500,000. We have significant progress that we have made in various health parameters. Like, for example, life expectancy has gone up, death rate has reduced greatly. We have number of doctors who are running it, though the doctor to population people ratio is much lower compared to what's elsewhere. But still, we have a huge workforce. And our doctors are not only serving patients in India, but many of them, actually the best of them, do go out and serve the Western countries as well. So we do have talent when it comes to medicine. We have almost 172,000, what we call it, health clinics across the India. We call them Ayushman Arogya Mandir, where people can go for health and wellness checks. And more importantly, we have more than 10,000 plus startups who are working in this field. Some of them are here today. In fact, I can see Vikalp of EkaCare, who built the Arogya Setu app when we were battling COVID-19. And there are many more like him, about which we'll be talking in a little while. So what can AI do in healthcare? Of course, we saw what Manish presented about the various applications that AI can do. So what we look at it is that it can enable access, it can enable quality healthcare, it can reduce cost of access for quality health conditions. In access, what we are looking at screening, we are looking at remote personalized recommendations, we are looking at how drug discovery can be enhanced by using artificial intelligence. Quality, like we are very often, there are several cases in India, several diseases that go undiagnosed because we are not able to provide specialist doctors in remote areas. Like, for example, tuberculosis remains to be a big killer in India. And very often in remote areas, we do have hospitals, we do have X-ray machines, but we don't have quality radiologists. So we have AI-enabled solutions which can solve this problem, which can read the X-ray images and give diagnosis that is required. Public health surveillance, monitoring epidemics, monitoring diseases. Dengue is a big, dengue, malaria, these are like common problems that we face, but collecting data from remote locations through projects like Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, we are able to analyze, we are able to predict where the hotspots, how we can take necessary actions to prevent spread of an epidemic. Cost has come down. In fact, the cost of accessing quality healthcare by use of technology, by use of AI-enabled services has really come down, and India is able to provide quality healthcare through schemes like Ayushman Bharat Health Insurance, which guarantees insurance coverage of 500,000 rupees to every Indian family. So with these opportunities, as I mentioned, there are certain challenges which technology can address. What are the challenges I mentioned? We do have shortage of specialists. We do have shortage of radiologists across the country. We do have shortage of health specialists. We have a lot of delays that happens, and this translates into heavy incidence of disease. For example, 26% of tuberculosis diagnosis incidence happens in India. How can we ensure that we can eradicate such diseases? And this would require massive application of technology and AI. Then non-communicable diseases has also gone up, the burden of non-communicable diseases. We see the annual incidence of stroke being very high. How can we use technology? How can we analyze data? How can we monitor healthcare? How can we support primary and secondary healthcare service providers to be able to address these challenges? So we are seeing a huge growth in number of startups who are trying to solve these problems. Like, for example, we have a startup called Cure.ai, which is offering its services to several countries. They have served more than 20 million. They have done 20 million TB screenings. We have IntelliHealth, which is like developing an AI-based solution for detecting diseases like epilepsy. They are trying to develop an AI application to analyze EEGs so that they can detect early onset of Alzheimer's and other diseases. We have Forus, which is trying to solve the eye care challenges that we have. Early diagnosis of cataract, how it can be done. Even diagnosis of cataract can be done by analyzing the images that are taken by a low-cost mobile phone in a rural area by a last-mile health worker, the ASHA worker as we call it. Eka Care, as I mentioned, Vikalp is here, like how they have digitized and created Ayushman Bharat health accounts, and how the EMR solution that they have developed can transform the way hospitals analyze their data, how they can analyze what kind of patients are there, what kind of cases they are getting, and how the electronic health records can benefit not only the patients whose records are there, but even the overall public health management system. Niramai has been there for a long time with their solution for diagnosing breast cancer is well known. So what we need to do in order to move up the chain, in order to move up and in order to ensure that these solutions don't remain isolated, proof of concept, pilots, how do we scale up these solutions? How do we make these solutions ubiquitous? How do we deploy these solutions at scale? How do we ensure that every block, every primary health center, every community health center, every health service provider gets access to services? To do this, there are certain challenges that we have which we need to address. What are these challenges? For example, what we are seeing is that the demand for compute is growing very rapidly. And when we mean compute, AI compute, especially the high-powered chips, which only one company, NVIDIA, has a monopoly, the cost of accessing these chips to analyzing the data that you get, even to do inferencing or model training, is very, very high. How do you ensure that we are able to make compute available, accessible at a low cost to all those who need it? Data, in fact, becomes very important. How do you make data available? We are a large country, we generate a lot of data, but making this data available to those who need it. For example, hospitals like AIIMS generate a lot of X-ray images, MRI images, but can we make these anonymized data sets available to those who are wanting to train models or those who are wanting to build applications? That remains a challenge. It requires digitization, it requires annotation, it requires having policies for enabling access to data sets. We saw how Mayo Clinic has billions of data sets. If such data sets, imaging data sets, are made available to our startups and entrepreneurs and researchers, maybe they can create solutions which will be better than anywhere else. Similarly, disease incidence data. We have blood reports. There are so many labs across the country which do blood tests for various parameters. Whether it's a LAL path labs or other network of path labs that we have, can we kind of build up a system in which anonymized data sets with regard to such testing is made available on a platform which is accessible for those who are building healthcare solutions? So again, that data becomes a key element for being able to solve these challenges. Then, of course, models. We are seeing huge growth in building models. Models is something, AI models is something that have become in many ways commoditized. There are models, there are large language models, and there are sectoral models in healthcare, like the one I mentioned about the EEG analysis for detecting Alzheimer's or epilepsy. So there are sectoral models also that are coming in which can transform development of such applications. Talent is again something which we are proud of. We are India's, in fact, biggest strength in the whole AI story is our human capital, our talent that we have. In fact, the Stanford AI Index 2025 report rates India as the #1 country when it comes to AI skill penetration. If you look at the GitHub repository, the number of AI projects which are contributed to there, Indians have a share of 20% of AI projects on the GitHub repository. So we do have talent. Our engineers are part of almost every global company which is there, and they are building applications, models for the whole big tech companies. How can we ensure that this talent is given an opportunity, given funding, given compute, data sets so that they can incubate these companies within India and build solutions that can solve problems not only of India but for the world. So this is the problem statement that we have, and to do this, we are implementing the AI mission in India, which is trying to address some of these challenges. So the AI mission was approved by the government with a outlay of around $1.2 billion last year and March. And what it's trying to do is trying to address all the bottlenecks, all the challenges that we have. What all we have been able to do so far was one of the biggest challenges, as was mentioned, was the availability of AI compute, which is accessible at a low cost to all those who need it. So when the program was approved last year, the goal was to make 10,000 GPUs available, a minimum of 10,000 GPUs. Today, we have been able to make 38,000 GPUs, which are available to the Indian AI ecosystem, researchers, startups, industry, students, at a low cost of rupees 65, which is less than $1 per GPU per hour, against the global norm of around $2.5 to $3 per GPU hour. And this will help us in some way to address the gap that we have. Of course, if you look at the US and the other companies, they are building hundreds of thousands of GPU farms, AI factories as they call it. So we are trying to go ahead, and we hope that by the end of the year, we will have at least 50,000. As we go forward, the demand goes up. The number of investors who are investing in this, especially with companies like Jio announcing 1 gigawatt data center, other companies invest in India, we will be able to address this gap of compute capacity that exists in India. The other big challenge was data sets. For this, we have built a platform called AI Kosh. What AI Kosh does is that it makes data sets across domains, both from public sector and private sector, available on a common platform wherein researchers and end users can go and access these data sets and use it for training models or building applications, doing that. AI Kosh also provides access to models. Today, we have almost 2,000 data sets there, which is growing every day. It was set up only in March this year. We have almost 240 models, and we are also putting tools therein for data anonymization, bias detection, algorithmic auditing, ethical framework, stress testing. So all these tools are also being put up on the AI Kosh platform, along with providing a sandbox environment wherein those who want to try out these applications or train models can access compute data sets at one point and build their solutions. Then we have a scheme under a program called Building Indian Foundation Model. Today, all the foundation models that are there are, we don't have an Indian LLM to use for our requirements. We are dependent on the LLMs that have been trained in the Western countries, and very often these models have inherent biases because Indian data sets are not there, they're not trained in Indian context. So Government of India is supporting startups like Sarvam, Socket, Gyani, GAN, and day before yesterday, we announced 8 more such initiatives. One from IIT Bombay, and the team from IIT Bombay is trying to build up a sovereign AI model, which will be a 1 trillion parameter model, and we are giving them funding support of almost in excess of $100 billion, almost 988 crores. So there are 12 initiatives that are currently ongoing, and we hope that by the time when we host the summit, we will have an Indian LLM. Indian LLM will be a voice-based LLM, which will ride on projects like Bhashini. I see Amitabh, my colleague here. So Bhashini has enabled seamless text-to-text, speech-to-text translations, and ultimately, the way India's AI will be built will be a voice-powered tool wherein people will be able to access services by voice command, and they will be able to ask queries with regard to whatever they are seeking. For example, if there is a woman in a tribal area in Bihar, and if she is wanting to know what she should do for a child which is suffering with diarrhea, she could be able to put her query in her mother tongue, whichever it is, and get a solution back on voice. And this solution will work not only on smartphones and devices with connectivity, should work even on low-cost 2,000 rupees feature phones, which can be used to call up toll-free numbers and give a query. A farmer should be able to put a query with regard to agricultural practices, with regard to how much fertilizer he should use, how much pesticide he should use, how much water he should use for irrigation, where he should sell his crop, and ensure that gets the right information. A small businessman, a MSME, or a small retailer should also be able to get information with regard to what should be his product mix, where should he buy his raw materials, where should he sell, how he should optimize his operations, and get this information in real time. So Indian LLM will ensure all of it, and when that happens, the efficiency and productivity of every sector of the economy will grow. Just like LLM tools that we use, ChatGPT or anything that we use, help us being able to do more with less. I am able to save time, I am able to read documents faster, I am able to create documents faster, I am able to analyze papers, I am able to read balance sheet faster. And if that makes me efficient, if similar efficiency is transferred to the other sectors, especially agriculture, industry, manufacturing, and those sectors become efficient and productive, we will be able to add to the national economy, we will be able to add to per capita income, and that will be our road to Viksit Bharat. That would help us move up from a $4 trillion economy to a $30 trillion economy. So that's what is the potential of building these foundation models which we are doing. Then the other key pillar under the IndiaAI mission is, of course, whenever we build AI solutions, the whole requirement remains of how do we build a safe and trustworthy AI applications and models. How do we ensure that the solutions which are being built conform to the responsible AI principles? So India's AI policy prioritizes innovation over restraint. It kind of provides for innovation, but at the same time, it also provides for guardrails to limit user harm. While we are all for building applications using AI, which can result in benefits, but at the same time, challenges like deep fakes, challenges like misinformation, challenges like use for AI for causing any harm has to be limited. So we are coming up with our AI governance guidelines, and we are building several tools which will ensure that we will be able to test these applications for conformance to safe and trustworthy principles. We have tools for machine learning, we have tools for privacy preservation, we have tools for deepfake detection, we have tools for watermarking AI-generated content, which will ensure that all that AI is being developed conforms to the broader principles of responsible AI development. We are also building, based on these common elements that we are providing, compute, data sets, models, and tools. On the top of it, we are providing support to develop applications. Like how do we build applications across sectors which can transform healthcare? So we did an innovation challenge, and we have identified 30 applications across the 5 domains of healthcare, agriculture, climate change, governance, and learning disabilities. And these solutions are now being scaled up and deployed across the country. And in order to support the entire ecosystem, we are also focusing on building talent, investing in talent, even though we have a talent advantage. But in order to survive, in order to retain that advantage, we do need to invest in skilling. For that, we are providing fellowships across undergrad level, postgraduate, PhD level, for developing AI-based applications in our universities and colleges. And these fellowships are not limited to only engineering students. These fellowships are available to students doing medicine, law, liberal arts, commerce. So because AI is horizontal, cuts across domains, and there will be applications of AI in almost all sectors. Then we are also building data labs in the rural areas, tier 2, tier cities, because there will be a lot of jobs which will come up in the data economy. And training people to become data annotators, data taggers, data analysts, and data scientists is an important focus area. And then we also have a provision for providing funding support to startups. How do we provide funding support to startups when they need the most? Like at the seed stage, at the pre-seed stage. So we are setting up a fund of funds and working with accelerators, incubators to provide funding support to startups. So this is the whole ecosystem for ensuring that we are able to catch up, if not leapfrog, to be able to match what the countries like US and China are doing. AI Coach, I've already mentioned, we have data sets, and we have specialized data sets for healthcare in this whole domain. So almost 10 to 12 to 15% of data sets are from healthcare, and we have got very quality healthcare data from ICMR, which are whether it's clinical images, surgical data, and there are a lot of use cases that can be used by those who are working in this domain. The startups who are showcasing here, they can look at these data sets on the aicoach.gov, indiaai.gov.in, and use these data sets for building applications and training models. And what we have also done is that, as I mentioned, we have identified 30 startups who are building solutions. So some of them who are working in the field of healthcare are mentioned here. I will not go into great detail, but I will mention about solutions like Screenplay, which are a gamified-based solution to detect autism. And they are able to just record a small video and able to detect autism, incidence of autism in school children. This is being tried out at Anganwadi centers and rural and primary schools for ensuring that we are able to detect it early and take necessary interventions that might be required. Then disability diagnosis by Jivisha. Then we have Drishti AI for retinal screening. We have Voxel Bass for brain mapping. We have Nidan again for tuberculosis screening, similar to Cure.ai. And both Nidan and Cure.ai solution have been endorsed by the Central Drug Control Authority, so that they are solutions which have been found to be suitable, that they can be deployed at scale. So what we work with the startups is that not only help them, mentor them, support them financially to develop these solutions, but also help them get the regulatory approvals of the healthcare ecosystem so that these solutions can be deployed at scale. Then we also launched, along with Tata Memorial Centre in Bombay, a catch grant. I think this is currently ongoing, wherein there is a grant of almost 15 crores to be given to those startups and those researchers who are developing AI-based applications for cancer research and development. And this includes the entire ecosystem, the entire spectrum of activities in this domain, whether it's data curation, whether it's screening and diagnostic, whether it's clinical treatment, patient engagement, research enablement, or bringing in overall efficiency in management of these. And we do hope that with the support of Tata Memorial and the National Cancer Grid, we will be able to build some solutions which can be deployed across country. So with this, what we are doing, with this background and with this, all these efforts that we are trying to take, the steps that we have taken in the last 1 year and that we plan in the next few months, we are ideally set to present what all we have and what all we can offer and the ways we can collaborate with the world when we host the AI Impact Summit in February 2026. The AI Impact Summit, as I mentioned, will be on 19th and 20th February 2026. In fact, Mr. Gupta told me that this event is also kind of a pre-event for the Impact Summit, because what we are also doing is that as we build up the momentum towards the Impact Summit, we are hosting several events across India and globally. We did one at the Internet Governance Forum at Oslo. We did one at the GPay Summit in Paris. And we are planning one at the UNGA next week in New York, followed by the Global DPI Summit in Johannesburg, the COP30, and the WEF at Davos, wherein we will be presenting the whole plan of the Impact Summit at these forums. And we look forward to collaborating with partners across domains for showcasing solutions, attending panels, curating panels at the Impact Summit. And the Impact Summit, as you know, is the follow-up of the summit that happened in Bletchley Park in UK in November 2023, wherein safety was the main focus. Safety and security were the main focus. From there, the last year, in fact, Seoul, Korea hosted the Innovation and Security Summit. And this year, we had the AI Action Summit in Paris, which was co-hosted by India and France. And therein, the whole charter was widened to expand the discussions about AI from just safety and security to also action, which included building sustainable AI, building public interest AI, focusing on governance, focusing on future of work, focusing on building safe and trustworthy AI. So this is the AI Impact Summit that we will be hosting. We'll see, will be at a very big scale. We are hoping to get more than 100 countries join in, 50 plus global AI leaders, including CEOs, CXOs, 200 events, as I mentioned, in the run-up to the events and during the summit, 15 plus deliverables. We are expecting almost 40,000 people to attend in person and more than 100,000 in the pre-summit events. And the objective of course, is to presenting India's AI prowess to the world bringing the narrative of global south into the whole AI discourse. Presently, the entire AI story is controlled by a few countries and a few companies. How do you make AI more inclusive? How do you democratize access to AI resources, especially compute, datasets, models? How do we ensure that a researcher sitting in Kenya or Morocco also has the access to similar level of GPUs as anybody sitting in the valley? So that's the key focus area. We have enabled that democratization of datasets and compute in India. Can a similar model be built for the world? Can we build a CERN for AI? Can we ensure that globally we collaborate, we fund, we build up an institutional framework for enabling access to AI resources for everyone? How do we develop indigenous AI solutions? How do we harness AI for social good and development? If these AI applications about which I spoke about, whether in the domain of education, agriculture, or healthcare, can we build up a repository of AI solutions, open source AI solutions that can be available for any country to use, adapt, customize, and deploy? That's the challenge that we have. Can we work together towards laying down a global governance framework of AI? AI as a technology is inherently a global technology. Models are developed in one geography, applications in some other geography, use cases are in some other geography. How do we ensure that we set up benchmarks, we set up standards for governance or ethical AI, which is common across? So anyone developing an AI solution should be able to conform to that. But this would require a lot of collaboration. There are several forums on which this is being deliberated. Whether this is the summits that we are hosting, or the global, or the UN high-level advisory body on AI, or the GPA summits that are held, or the G20 or the G7 groups. There are several forums on this we are being debated. We are part of those discussions, but can we bring that to a finality? Can we come out with a global governance framework? That's the challenge that we have. And how can India lead the voice of the global south in ensuring an equitable and inclusive AI ecosystem? So that's the key objectives that we have. The themes that we have focused on, like when we're talking of impact, impact is the mantra, but impact on what? Impact on people, planet, and progress. These are the three sutras that we have, or pillars that we have. When you talk about people, all issues related to skilling, jobs, reskilling, employment comes in. Will AI lead to some jobs becoming redundant? What happens to those people? How do we reskill them? How do we upskill them? The whole issue about planet. How do we build sustainable AI? How do we ensure that energy consumption for AI is limited? How do we ensure that AI is used for addressing climate change challenges? How AI can be used for climate action, for predicting floods, for predicting extreme climate events? Then, of course, progress. What AI means for economic growth, what AI means for social good. So these three pillars will remain the focus area when we talk of impact. And 7 themes. Of course, these are human capital, inclusion, for social empowerment, safe and trustworthy AI, resilience, innovation, and efficiency, science, what AI can do for advancing cutting-edge research in science and R&D. How do we democratize AI resources and social good, economic growth and social good? These are the 7 themes. Around these 7 themes, we will have 260+ sessions during the summits. And along with the main sessions and the discussions that will happen at the summit, we are also having impact challenge, innovation challenge for building impactful AI solutions. There will be one AI for all impact challenge. There will be one for women. There will be one for youth. We are also having an AI expo in which, just like you are seeing at a limited scale showcasing of AI applications and solutions in this hall, similarly there will be a large scale AI showcase at the event wherein there will be country pavilions, there will be companies who will be showcasing the best of their solutions and doing that. We also have a research symposium in which quality researchers will be presenting their papers at the summit. And then we have a pitch fest in which investors will be there, and there will be 20-25 startups will be selected who are making pitches to investors. And we are hoping to get funding commitments for the startups who are building impactful solutions. So, as I mentioned, in all these 3 challenges, the AI for all global challenge, or AI for women or youth, there is going to be a focus area. Healthcare is going to be a focus area. Healthcare is going to be a big problem statement on which we'll be looking for solutions. So, in the Impact Summit, my appeal to all of you is that do follow the updates on the website impact.indiaai.gov.in, and your involvement, especially the involvement of the healthcare sector, will be very, very critical. So I call upon all of you to follow up and think of in what ways you can join, in what ways you can join in the pre-summit events, in what ways you can contribute, in what ways we can work together to make this Impact Summit truly impactful and trying to showcase what India can do and what AI can do for the world. So this is all that I had to share today, and thank you for your attention.